Wait a minute. This isn't my world.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
Disappointed!
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and it would appear that the Democrats are completely panicked. They do not want Kamala Harris to speak. It's my opinion that she basically delivered Joe Biden's speech, trying to straddle the pole, which she's probably pretty used to, between the far leftist ideology and more palatable middle of the road politics isn't going to satisfy either side. Obviously, people were in the streets marching. The Democrats pissed off RFK Jr. so bad that it looks like he's likely to endorse Trump today. Who knows? I never like to count my chickens before they're hatched. But there is a panic in the party, even as the media is trying their best to shill for Kamala Harris. Her surrogates are getting absolutely spit roasted out there. Pocahontas got absolutely destroyed. We're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about perhaps the most pathetic low for the Democrats. And believe me, they live in the low. You know, like Stranger Things has the upside down. The Democrats live in the low. They purposely, in my opinion, floated the idea last night that Taylor Swift or Beyonce would be there to introduce Kamala Harris just so people would stay tuned in and not leave before Kamala's speech. And guess what? There was no Beyonce. Guess what? There was no Taylor Swift. In fact, there was literally nobody. Nobody. The whole TMZ was reporting, oh, Beyonce is going to be there. Everyone in the Democrat shills, like Hassan Piker, was like, oh, it's going to be Beyonce or Taylor Swift. This is going to be it. We're going to take the election. The walls are closing in on Trump. Nobody showed up. People online were perpetuating this rumor as if it were absolute fact and getting ruthlessly mocked for it. This is perhaps the most pathetic. This is the highest vote of non-confidence that they could possibly have, in my opinion. By the way, today, live at 1 Eastern, we're going to be doing a viewing party of the RFK potential dropout and announcement. If you're a YouTube viewer, subscribe to Quartercast. I'll leave it linked in the description and pinned comment down below. We can watch together, see what happens. Or if you want to watch on Rumble, obviously that is the official place of my live stream. But I want you to be there regardless. So I'll leave it linked in the description and pinned comment down below. Let's look a little at this. You see, Kamala Wins' official account, or some sort of official account, tweets, breaking, TMZ has reported that Beyonce will be at the Democratic convention tonight. This is huge. She never showed up. Here's international newsreader Don Lemon.
I'm sure you guys have read all the headlines, all the stuff on social media about who's going to be at the DNC. Is it going to be Beyonce? Is it going to be Taylor Swift? Here's what I hear from sources. If it's going to be anyone, it would be Beyonce, Taylor Swift, and George W. Bush speaking. Those would be the heavy hitters.
None of them showed up. None. Nobody showed up. They all blew it off. If there ever was an invite, they never got it. Beyonce's publicist came out and was like, well, we were never invited. We didn't know anything about this. I don't believe that at all. I believe that the Democrats were desperately trying to get someone up until the last minute. And people like Taylor Swift, hashtag Swifties for Trump, people like Beyonce, too toxic. I don't think black folks like Kamala Harris. I think that black folks have wised up to the whole, vote for this person because it's not about policy. It's about they have the same skin color as you. The New York Post running, and the Oscar goes to Douglas Murray, awards Dems for their lying fake Hollywood convention. It was all an act. The Democrats couldn't get anyone in the building. Look, I was at the RNC. That building was packed to the brim every night. Now, they did have Tucker Carlson, who's a bit of a celebrity on the right, on the big Thursday night finale. They also had Hulk Hogan, which isn't, I know the Hulkamaniacs are out there. My friend Jesse's a big Hulkamaniac. But then, like, you know, other than that, it's not like they had big musicians playing, Hollywood actors. Not that I saw, anyway. Maybe there were some musical acts. I don't know. I think there might have been one. Either way, the Democrats can't get anyone to show up without promising special guests. Everyone's making fun of them today. As the DNC's wrongly rumored special guest, Beyonce and pop fandom stole the show. Harris even came on stage to a recording of Freedom at the Democratic National Convention Thursday, shortly before accepting the party's nomination. But despite the increasingly fevered assurances that rippled across the internet in the lead-up, including from the gossip mongers at TMZ, who are almost never wrong, the one and only Beyonce didn't show up in the flesh to perform at Chicago's United Center. 2 hours and change after TMZ posted the exclusive, claiming the pop superstar would appear, The Hollywood Reporter quoted Beyonce's rep saying that the singer was never scheduled to be there and that the report of the performance was untrue. This was a deliberate lie by the DNC and their handlers. At best, this is how embarrassing it is. It was at best a deliberate lie by the DNC and Kamala Harris's handlers to try and get people to stop tuning out. And it worked, I guess. There were reports of people who were sticking around even after the end, just waiting, hoping that Taylor Swift would come out, sitting long after the convention ended, waiting, hoping, praying that they would get a free concert from Beyonce or a free show from Taylor Swift. Didn't happen. DNC's Beyonce Blues special guest never appeared. False rumors and wild speculation about Beyonce and other secret special guests. I mean, what do you mean, wild rumors? These were started by the DNC. They were started by the DNC. Beyonce probably was pissed about it. Either that or at the last second, Beyonce was like, nah, I'm not doing that. They get snubbed by Beyonce, snubbed by Taylor Swift. White House political director Emmy Ruiz fanned the flames when she posted a bee emoji on X before joking, sorry guys, my 6-year-old took my phone. Bettors on Polymarket, a site that allows gambling on political events, viewed Beyonce performance as almost certain 96% after a TMZ report. So again, 96%, right? TMZ report comes out, 96% chance of the Beyonce performance. This is why you have to understand sites like Polymarket and Predict It. Why do you think Vegas exists? Right? To make money. And just to tell everyone, yes, they can be directional. Okay, but as a white pill about these gamblers, which, hey, gamble on, brother. Just try and, use restraint. Make sure that you never gamble more than you can afford to lose and that you don't get an unhealthy habit. Donald Trump never led in the 2016 election, according to Las Vegas, at any point. At any point. At best, in February, he was even. I'm sorry, Clinton was even. Trump was plus 190. Trump was literally always a massive underdog. But, people are like, ooh, Polymarket. Polymarket's going to be the thing. Again, it doesn't matter. Polymarket was 96% sure that Beyonce would perform, and she didn't. Polymarket, who made a bunch of money? Polymarket. Polymarket's the one that made a bunch of money. That's why it exists. And then you have, Kamala Harris getting grilled from the press.
But when will she sit down with the...
Oops, sorry.
For her as presidential candidate. But when will she sit down with the media in a one-on-one capacity and answer our questions?
Never.
I think she'll sit down on her time. Look, as you mentioned, this was a truncated time frame.
Her time. Her time is apparently more important than answering questions for the American people. If you watched the Kamala speech last night, like I did, it was literally 37 minutes of word salad. I was an Indian girl. That's how I learned how to make gumbo and play chess for some reason. And I worked at McDonald's once, like 70% of Americans at one point in their life, or some insanely high number if you look that up. So I'm just like you. And my mom was a single mom. Shocking. And I fought crime, and I care about the border, although, you know, evidence proves otherwise. And then you see here even CNN.
In anticipation here and elsewhere that there may be a special guest. I am told by Democrats that Kamala Harris was their guest. They did not want a celebrity at the end of this convention to essentially compete with her.
Bull roar. They got turned down. They were probably desperately trying to get somebody, and they got turned down. Either that, or they floated that rumor falsely to try and get people to stick around and watch. Even the BBC fact-checked her. Would Trump ban abortions across America? Claim Trump would enact the nationwide abortion ban. Verdict, this is misleading. But would Trump limit access to birth control? Claim, as part of Trump's agenda, he and his allies would limit access to birth control. Verdict, this is misleading. The BBC is fact-checking her. CNN is fact-checking her. People outside the bubble, people outside the arena, outside the bubble of ride or die Democratic voters, some voters, particularly Republicans, said they didn't even bother to watch. And among some, still on the fence, those who could make a difference in a tight contest, Ms. Harris's words did not make any immediate converts. They said they needed more specifics. Well, she didn't have any specifics. Kamala Harris in for tough election battle after, quote, joyful convention. Robert F. Kennedy is expected to end campaign. Now, there's no guarantee that he's going to endorse Trump. Everyone feels like maybe that'll be. Again, I don't think an RFK endorsement, you know, is a virtual guaranteed lock. If I had to guess, the RFK endorsement's probably already baked in to a lot of the poll, at least into like the betting markets in Vegas. Vegas right now, you look at these headlines. This is what's funny. Chris Cuomo explains why Kamala is hiding from the media. I mean, the media's turning on her left and right. Jen Psaki compares the likability of Kamala Harris to Hillary Clinton. Yeah, that's probably true. We know RFK's withdrawal. TMZ lost a lot of credibility tonight. I mean, maybe they literally backed out. Then you look at this. Kamala Harris surges past Trump in election betting markets. Really? Oh, wow. She must be at like a 70% chance to win. That's wild. You used the word surge. Okay, let's see. According to Tracker election betting odds, Harris has a 50.1% chance. 1/10 of a point. It's still a coin flip. Anything inside of 5 to 10 points is a coin flip. So no, again, people have really started looking at these betting markets. They're worth talking about for directional standpoint. You know, I think Trump had like a 6-cent lead, a 6-point lead last night. After the DNC, Kamala Harris got about 3 points back. We'll see if the RFK endorsement makes this move at all. But I mean, ultimately here, even new Senator Elizabeth Warren gets flustered after CNN's Joe Kernan calls her out for gaslighting. I mean, her surrogates are getting absolutely crushed because her policies are insane. And so you have this election again will be just another Trump versus people that hate Trump. If you actually care about policy, I knew I was voting for Trump a long time ago. There's very little that was going to change my mind. Democrats probably the same way. You know, Joe Biden, it's not Trump. I'm going to vote for not Trump. The amount of not Trump voters are the same that existed in 2020 and 2016. Trump hasn't gotten any worse. Trump really is about the same, I think, in their eyes. Now, the question is, when they put their hand in their pocket and they jingle around for change, how much is in there anymore? And are they willing to change their vote? That and more we'll be covering live today at 1 Eastern over on Quartercast or over on Rumble with Six Hexenhammer. We'll have the RFK speech live as well, so make sure you tune in there. Subscribe to Quartercast, subscribe to this channel, and we'll talk to you again real soon.